Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
Here we are on a Thursday. It's Thursday, and it's already 3 o'clock. We only got 2 hours today.
Flying by, baby. It's a quick day.
What the heck is going on, man? This is just going to screw things up more, man. I'm going to be all screwed up for the rest of the week now. All right, so today we're here in studio. Tomorrow, as you just heard, Rally House, Mayfair collection. Come on out, hang out. And you heard that right. Your chance to register to win a $250 gift card to Rally House. Never been to Rally House, man. You're missing out. I heard Mitchell Dallas earlier. I ain't never been to a Rally House. How have you never been to a Rally House, man? Are you a sports fan or aren't you? How have you are a sports fan if you've never been to a Rally House? Those things have been around for a minute now.
Well, especially around here, too. I feel like I know them because of, like, their Wisconsin merch. That's my favorite thing to shop there. That's the best stuff they got.
We also talk about something else. I believe I heard Thunder say he only owns one Brewer shirt. Is that what that man said?
Yeah.
Dude, are you a sports fan or aren't you? Do you like them or don't you? Like, what do you mean you only have one?
I mean, I don't think that's that bad.
Like, if you said, I have one Milwaukee Panther t-shirt, right? You didn't go to Milwaukee. Okay, fine. I get it, right? At least you got one. At least you support the Panthers somehow, some way. But it's the damn Brewers, man. I mean, the man's lived here for like 20, 30 years or longer, Mitch. Like, that's crazy. How do you not have... Listen, if I'm being honest, the Brewers should just send him a bag of clothes. Dude, here. I like how do you only have one shirt? Like they should just give Thunder a bag of Brewer swag for him to wear.
Well, is it that easy? Because then I only have like one Brewers jersey. I've lived here for 23 years of my life, almost 24.
They barely know who you are.
But
Thunder, they know for sure. The man's been going to games for like 20 years.
Tell them that like Thunder has a son too that also needs clothes, and then it's part of the family. And then maybe we can see something.
Probably could pass for his kid. Yeah, you might
smart.
be able to pull that off. Yeah, no doubt. You probably could. Yeah. Okay, so coming up on today's show, Mark Stewart, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel Badgers beat reporter. He joins us coming up in the second segment, 3:20. Charlie Sounds of the day, as always, at 3:40. Green and Gold update at 4 o'clock. We'll talk a little bit of what Matt LaFleur had to say. He actually talked after practice today. Is that what happened? Because that never happened.
Crazy. He was still late, though, as usual, so like it doesn't matter.
Whatever. But at least he talked after practice. It's far better for the media, if we're being honest, for these dudes to talk after they practice going up to an NFL Sunday. Packers Lions Sunday afternoon will be right here. Green Bay football postgame show with Tommy Wirtz and myself after every Green and Gold game throughout the entire year. You can listen to us on 1250 AM, 105.7 FM. Stream us on the Odyssey app. Check us out on YouTube for the postgame shows as well, and participate in the Dugout YouTube chat after each and every Green Bay game all season long. We'll get into this whole deal involving Micah Parsons because there's some debate going on right now about whether or not Micah Parsons should or should not play in the game coming up this weekend. So we'll talk about that at 4:20, talk about things we missed, which will be a lot because we only have a 2-hour show today. That comes up at 4:40. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get to my guy, Dan Orlovsky. Now, those of you may not remember that back in the day, Dan Orlovsky used to come on this radio station quite a bit. Dan Orlovsky, when he was just doing his diagramming and stuff on Twitter and all of that stuff, he would come on quite a bit. And even when he got to ESPN and started at ESPN before, he hit it big, he was still coming on our station from time to time as well. And then obviously he hit it big and that was the end of that. But here is Dan Orlovsky talking about Jordan Love. Jordan Love, year 3 as a starter. Okay. Last year, hurt a majority of the year, playing hurt, missing games at the beginning of the year. Year previous to that, first half of the year, nobody knew what they were doing. Second half of the year was MVP-like. Definitely not MVP like last year. So this is now year 3. Relatively the same cast of characters that he had last year outside of Matthew Golden, Savion Williams. Other than that, pretty much same cast of characters. Dan Orlovsky, ESPN, get up.
He's my MVP pick. It's time. What is this year now? 5, year 6 for Jordan Love? The organization did something they haven't done in 20 plus years. They took a first round wide receiver, Field Yates, not a lateral comparison, but said Matthew Golden, who they took out of Texas, reminded him a lot of Steve Smith. So this is arguably the deepest skill group in the NFL. 5 or 6 legit NFL wide receivers, 2 really good tight ends. Jordan Love's crazy talented. This has been an offense that pass game wise has been like relatively efficient, but hasn't necessarily had the volume. If I'm Matt LaFleur and I got Micah Parsons on the other side, I'm chucking the heavens out of the football this season and saying, be aggressive. This is a quarterback that has all the physical ability to get it done. He has to take that big. And you're talking about me.
Okay, so 1 second here. Let's go back. A couple of different things. Number one, I don't want him chucking the heavens out of the ball because now you have Amari Cooper. Not Amari. I'm looking at Amari Cooper returning TV. Because now you have Micah Parsons on the other side of the line of scrimmage. That should not change your offensive philosophy as a football team. Come on, Dan Orlovsky. You know better than that. You're my guy, but no, man. You don't do that. That'd be like going to the Ravens. Hey, man, we got Ray Lewis and we got Saragusa. We got this guy and that guy. Trent Dilfer, wing it, baby. Let's go. Hell no. Jamal Lewis, here you go. Jamal Lewis, here you go. Right? Shannon Sharp. All this other stuff, you ain't doing all this other crazy stuff, right? Stay within the boundaries of who you are. I'm not saying Jordan Love is Trent Dilfer, but what I am saying is the strength of this football team as we sit currently, based on what we watched last year, based on what this offensive line currently is, which outside of adding Aaron Banks in is pretty much the same line as they had last year. The strength is pushing people, moving people, and letting Josh Jacobs go, right? Controlling the clock, using Tucker Kraft. Now you can throw a little Luke Musgrave in. Stretch the field a little bit with Matthew Golden. Wait for Christian Watson to come back week 6. And then go. This whole chucking it all over. No, let's not change offensive philosophy. Having said that, the fact that he is predicting Jordan Love to win MVP, and he says it's time. It's time. A direct quote, it's time. Do you agree? Is it time that Jordan Love goes and wins MVP this year? Is it his time to go win MVP this year? Nicolay Law Fan Talk text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Sound off with a recorded voice message on the Odyssey app, Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Orlovsky says it's time for Jordan Love to win MVP. I'd love to tell you that, yeah, man, you're right, Dan. It's time. We've been waiting for it, and now he's going to go win this sucker. I can't get myself there, man. I can't. I don't want to be Mr. Negative or nothing like that, but I'm having a hard time wrapping my arms around the idea that it's kind of MVP or bust for Jordan Love this year. That expectations are he's the best player in the National Football League this year. Now, I realize defensive players don't win MVPs, but simply just to say he's the best offensive player in football, let's just put that aside. To say he's the best quarterback in football, the most optimistic Jordan Love fan, I don't think can get themselves to that point. I don't think we can take that type of leap of faith to say that it's MVP or bust time for Jordan Love, that it's time. Like, talk to me in 2 or 3 years about it's time when he's, started for 4 or 5 years. Then, okay, here we go. Let's go. But right now, I would imagine if you went around the state of Wisconsin and went up to people wearing Jordan Love jerseys, some of them wouldn't know the first thing about football. Others may know something about football, and others may be really knowledgeable about football, right? Those would be the 3 category groups. Because let's face facts, there's a lot of people wearing Packer gear around here that don't know a damn thing about anything. Because they're just casual fans. They watch, hey, game's over, win or lose, they move on with their day. It's just a social function and something they enjoy doing. But I think the knowledgeable Jordan Love fans, I think they look at this and they say, you know what, Sparky? I don't think I even know how good Jordan Love is at this point. I don't think the Packers even know at this point what Jordan Love is capable of for a full, healthy season with the group that he is around him. I think that's what most would say. But what do you say? That's all that really matters at this point. Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250, Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. Hop into our Dugout YouTube chat on YouTube. Search The Fan Milwaukee. Let's go to Johnny Northside. You're first up on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line here on Wisconsin Sports Daily. What's up, Johnny?
How you doing, Spark, man? It's been a while. Sorry, I listen to you every day. You know, the flood happened, and we've been working around the clock for a while.
I can only imagine, man. I can only imagine.
Yeah, but yeah, you hit it on the head to me with the last part that you said. Like, you know, how, you know, we really don't know what we got in Jordan Love. Now, when you say the MVP, my response to that is yes. It's his third year. I think he understands it. Is he going to go get it or not? I believe it's there for him. I do believe that he is capable. I've seen it. We've seen it them last 8 games. We've seen flashes of it last year. A healthy Jordan Love for a full season. I asked you, Spark, what would Jordan Love percentages be if those drop passes? You know, we led the league in drop pass. Whatever I think you guys put up a mark. It was Dobbs, not Dobbs, but Jordan Reed. Like, they had dropped.
Reed and Wicks. Yeah. Reed and Wicks. Warren Sharp did this. Said that they were the 2 worst receivers in football last year in mistakes.
So let's say that gets cleaned up,
right?
And then you got this goal. Like, I watched him. I watched his one of his pre-draft things, and his the little flag drop. They showed his and they showed Travis Hunter's. He got 9 out of 10, and the one that he didn't grab, it dropped late, and he kind of wasn't paying attention. I think we got somebody that can finally catch the ball.
Yes.
And maybe like Matt LaFleur, just in a crazy world, uses this golden tight end that he has it's like he doesn't know or he doesn't want to use them. But maybe we start, and now Jordan Love, those completions, his percentages goes up, and maybe those 3 and outs, and instead of settling for field goals, maybe we start going for touchdowns now. And next thing you know, Jordan Love is in the conversation.
Hey man, that it has to go the way you said in order for it to work. I appreciate the call, Johnny. Keep on listening. Spread the word. Tell everybody you know, man. Fan is back, right? Check us out. Come hang out with us each and every day, whether it be 8 to 9 Pack a Day radio show, 9 to 11 Mason Crosby show with Mitch Thunder Nellis. Now 11 to 2. We have Thunder middays with Thunder from 11 to 2. And then this show, obviously 2 to 5. So the Matthew Golden piece is interesting because I have yet to talk to anybody or read it from anybody, locally or nationally, that have had anything negative to say about this dude. Everybody is on the Matthew Golden train. Like, everybody's like, he's a dude. Like, rookie year, he's going to come out and put up numbers his rookie year. He doesn't drop anything. He's great at adjusting to the ball in the air. He can get separation with his quickness. Like, he's everything you possibly want. I had not heard the Steve Smith correlation. Steve Smith was a tough hombre, man. But if we're just talking pound per pound, size, and what he was able to do with that size was incredible. If Matthew Golden is able to do body control-wise, speed-wise, breaking tackles, if he's that, that's like a Hall of Famer. I mean, that's crazy. That's better than anybody they got right now.
Definitely. I think people want to compare him to Christian Watson a lot and say, oh, we just got a second Christian Watson.
Not the same type of player, though.
But it's not. And I think that's what people are starting to realize, seeing him in the preseason and hearing what people are starting to say about him, is that it's not that. I think when you were talking about casual Packers fans before, that's just what they're expecting in this situation. But you have to understand that they invested more in this than any wide receiver they've invested in on this squad so far. And I think you have to trust that the Green Bay Packers, an organization that's been able to turn players around or make something out of nothing, Now that they have a piece that is here and ready to go, you should expect them to be able to work wonders with that. And that's what I'm excited for. Yes, we hear these comparisons and we don't really know what a Matthew Golden is for sure going to be yet, but I trust in the Green Bay Packers organization to make something out of him. And I think in correlation, we'll make something out of Jordan Love as well.
He is Charlie Houston, C. Sparky Fifer, asking you. Dan Orlovsky says, it's time. It's time for Jordan Love to win MVP this year. It's time. Do you agree? Nicolay Love fan talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250, Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. Chat in our dugout on YouTube as well. Search The Fan Milwaukee. KJ West Allis, you're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's with me, Steve Sparky Fifer. What's up, KJ?
Sparky, good afternoon. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
I probably need Charlie's help with this. What's the total games that Aaron Rodgers won when he won MVP? Do you have that stat?
You can find
Charlie?
it. He'll look it up. Yep, he'll grab it for you.
I think that Jordan Love can win MVP. And it's because they have Micah Parsons, because he's going to have more opportunities with the ball. And if they can get turnovers, which I think they can, he's going to have the opportunity to make some plays. And I think that he certainly has the arm, and he just has to stay healthy. And if he stays healthy and he gets that offense going with a guy like Golden and those tight ends, I think he has every opportunity to win MVP this year or maybe even next year.
So in each of Jordan Love's MVP season, or Aaron Rodgers' MVP seasons, he won at least 13 games. In the last two, in 2020 and 2021, he won 13 games each that season. In his first one in 2011, he won 15 games.
Woo-wee.
Right. And I think if the Packers win 14, 15 games, Jordan Love's certainly going to be in the conversation for MVP.
That's going to be interesting. Thanks for the call. I don't know if it is really about wins and losses. Obviously, it plays into it, but I don't think you have to be the one seed to necessarily win MVP. I do think is if you're going to be a quarterback and win MVP, you're probably going to have to be closer to, 4,000 yards, somewhere in that area, right? 3,500 to 4,000 yards.
At least, yeah. I think you have to be 4,000 yards nowadays.
Probably 4,000 yards,
I don't think
right?
even 3,500 cuts it anymore.
I don't know if he gets to 4,000 yards. Have they run like I think they're going to run? I don't know. Could he? Yes, he could. Does he have the talent to? Yes, absolutely he does. But it's talking to me about the offense and how much Matt LaFleur opens it up to play that way. But I do not want him to listen to Dan Orlovsky and just, hell, we got Micah. Wing it, baby. Let's go. 40 throws a game. No, absolutely out on that. Do not want that. Coming up next, Mark Stewart, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, Badgers beat reporter coming up. And don't forget, if you love Wendy's classic chocolate, vanilla frosty flavors, big news. They're all new Frosty Swirls and now Frosty Fusions. Same creamy treat you've always loved. Now the flavor refresh. So what are these new flavors? Well, we've got the Frosty Swirls, strawberry, brownie batter, caramel, and the Frosty Fusions, Oreo brownie, caramel crunch, and Pop-Tart strawberry. So clock in for sweet treat time with Wendy's all new Frosty flavors. A refresh on a classic. It's got to be Wendy's. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Time now for your fan weather forecast. 61 degrees. It is only freaking 61? That's all it is?
It feels colder out there, too.
Dang, man. Really?
Really?
The high today was only 63. Oh, man. Low last night was like 44. Low tonight, it's getting warmer. Low tonight of 53. Up next, Mark Stewart, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel Badgers beat reporter. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Don't forget Potawatomi Sportsbook, great place to go. Take advantage of their shuttles to and from the games for Brewers games at American Family Field. First inning right now, bottom of one over there, 0-0. Not a lot of people in the stands right now. I'm sure probably people are still trying to get in through tailgating and everything else. But Potawatomi Sportsbook is the place. From 1 hour before the game to 1 hour after the game, their shuttles are running. Now, how are you able to get onto the shuttle? Well, you can do a same-day game wager, any game, doesn't matter. Or you can just make a purchase inside the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Maybe get yourself a beer, beverage, something to eat before you go over there. A little pregame and maybe at the Potawatomi Sportsbook before you head on over to the Brewers game at American Family Field. So take advantage of it today. They have free parking in their parking garage, so you don't got to pay the parking fees at American Family Field. Maybe you go to an afternoon game, you come back and have reservations at one of their fine dining restaurants, or just come back and sit inside the Potawatomi Sportsbook and eat from their kitchen. It's good stuff. Check out for more details on the shuttles going to and from Brewers home games. Go to Potawatomi.com/sportsbook. Potawatomi.com/sportsbook. Joining us now on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law, our guy Mark Stewart, Badgers beat reporter for the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Follow him on Twitter at Mark Stewart MJS. Mark, how are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Doing good. This whole YouTube thing now with cameras and videos and all that. I'm not a big fan of looking at myself, so I try and stay away from that. But this is my thought. Oh, now look at this. See, now look what I have to do here. This is good for YouTube. Look at this. Because it's like I'm a loser and have to put an L in front of my face in order to get the camera to zoom out, Mark.
I wish you guys could see me waving over here trying to get his attention.
Yes, I didn't notice it till I looked. Normally, I try not to look. Okay, Mark. So let's talk about this Badgers team. So first off, year 3 transfer portal quarterback, and right off the bat, you end up losing Billy Edwards. Now, MRI comes back later, and it appears he's fine, which is good. But I think the general consensus on social media was yet another gut punch to Badger fans when he went out.
Yeah. I mean, it's never good when you see your quarterback go down, and it's a non-contact injury,
right?
But yeah, it seems like the Badgers, dodged the bullet this time. Billy, it sounds like he's going to miss this week. Maybe he'll be back next week.
You better not need him this week. You should be able to go out there and play quarterback this week, and they should be able to win against Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, well, let's not stretch it, but yes. But yes, this. I mean, and the way I look at this game, this is a good game. It's never too early to evaluate your quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And this is, I mean, you never want Billy Edwards out. You never want your starter out. But this is a time where, okay, if you think Danny O'Neal is the guy for you in 26, you're going to get an extensive look at him as from a coaching standpoint in game situations in the week of prep going into the game. So this is the way I look at this week. This is it's almost, I won't say like an audition, but it's going to be a good exam to see where he is, and if he could be the guy leading this team next year. Okay, so what did you take away from watching Daniel O'Neal in that Miami of Ohio game? It was tough. I mean, I will say this. I mean, he's great. He's very mobile. He's good with his. He made some plays with his legs. With his legs. There was like a 3rd and 9 play, I believe, and he ran for 17 yards. So I do think he adds that dimension to the team. I think it sounds like the guys, really enjoy playing with him. He's just kind of got a swagger, a moxie to him that, seems like, one of those intangible qualities that, guys enjoy playing with. So from that standpoint, those were positives. I mean, there were 2, maybe 3 throws. He had one pass that was intercepted in the end zone. I think he kind of underthrew it. And there was, by my count, there were 2 other passes that made you think like, whoo, that one could have been picked off at a time when the game was still in doubt. So, those are things you got to work. You got to work on.
But Mark, you just said it. The fact that the game was in doubt that late into it should not happen. Listen, if this is Barry Alvarez's team, Bielema's team, Chris' team, Gary Anderson, who knows? But those other 3 guys, this game is never in doubt. That game took to midway through the second half before you felt comfortable about it.
Yeah, I mean, to their credit, Miami of Ohio. I don't want to, toot my alma mater's horn there, but there's a lot of smart guys for the Red Hawks, and
Hey, Mark,
they
I
did.
don't want to say nothing about your alma mater, but the fact that on TV the graphic said the University of Miami, I about lost my mind when I saw that. I'm like, come on, man, you can't just put University of Miami up there against the Badgers on TV.
Yeah, but I mean, I will say this. I mean, I looked at the game as kind of I think people looked at the offensive struggles, and the offensive struggles overshadowed a really good defensive game.
Sure.
If you're a Badger fan, and I don't know what more they could have done defensively. I mean, sure, this is a MAC team, and that they handled a MAC team from the defensive standpoint the way you hope they would. Week 2, Middle Tennessee coming up. This is a team they just lost to Austin P. I mean,
like
this is a game that you would hope, if you're a Badger fan, that they're going to come out and consistently throughout the game make plays on both sides of the ball. And this is one of those games where third quarter, you're getting some of your freshmen in. Definitely fourth quarter. We'll see what happens. It seems like these games are always a little tougher for UW than they should be, though.
You can't question Mason's wanting to coach from Vanderbilt to freaking Middle Tennessee State. Like, I think I'd rather be an assistant coach at Alabama at this point, Mark, than having to try and resurrect this program. But having said all of that, I have another question about the offense, because I'd like to stay there for a second. What happened to my guy Dupree, man? That I was hoping he was going to be my guy, and they kept running Dylan out there, which was fine. He had a nice game, 70-some yards, whatever it was. But I really thought Dupree would get more run than he got.
I guess from watching them practice throughout the spring, Darian Dupree was ahead of Dylan Jones last year at this time, and the snap showed it. But from the spring on, Dylan's kind of taken that job and run with it. And, maybe it's the change of offense that maybe suits his style of running a little more. But, I guess I wasn't surprised that that's kind of how it landed out. I think, between, the three backs, when you add Cade Yakimelli to the mix, I think those other, you got Dylan Jones at the top, and I think Darian and Cade are pretty close. But it's early. Like I said, we'll see what happens this week. All
right. Darian, so let me kind of at you with this. Would you, because I think they're both different. Now, you could tell me if I'm wrong in Yakimelli, but I think Yakimelli's more of a bruiser, and Dupree's more of a guy that wants to shake and bake and make people miss. Wouldn't that, that's pretty much going to come down to what style the Badgers want in different situations.
Yeah. It's fair to say Dupree has a little more wiggle to him. He's a better receiver. He's a guy that, in high school, he played if you watch some of his high school stuff, he was split out a lot, playing this slot. So he's got great hands, so I do think he has a unique skill set in that group of running backs. Sometimes, the first game, now this is one thing about your guy, Darian, in terms of, he didn't get the touches, but he did get pretty much the same amount of snaps as Dylan. I think
he just didn't get the touches, right? Okay.
Yeah. So, I think, it was 31 snaps for Dylan Jones, 28 for Darian Dupree. So he was out there in the mix. Now in the future, is that going to lead to more touches? Is it going to vary from game to game? That's one of those things that, we'll see. But again, this is one of those weeks where, if you want to see some Darian Dupree, Sparky, hopefully this is the game for you to see what he can do early in the season.
I hope so. I want a game from my guy Dupree. Now, the other one that I'm interested in on this offensive side of the football, because I'm a Packers fan, yes, but I'm also have been a Colts fan since mid-90s. So the other one I'm interested in, obviously, going to be T.Y. Hilton's kid. I want to know what this is all about. Vinny Anthony's, I think, the best receiver in this room as we currently sit, obviously, because he's got the experience in the offense and so forth, and had a nice game again. Tell me about T.Y. Hilton's kid.
Eugene Hilton. He's a guy, when you talk to the coaches about him, and he is a true freshman who came in for spring ball. So he's been here since January. And, they talk about him just having doing certain things that you either one, you can't teach, or it takes them a couple seasons to teach guys these things. So,
okay, that's good.
Yeah, so he is a guy that, has a lot of, he comes to, I don't know if osmosis is the right word, but just being exposed to the game at the level that, he's seeing. I think he was able to kind of pick up on some things as a receiver that have really helped him since he's gotten here. Got his first catch. I think he had one or two catches in the second half. He's working. I mean, for a freshman, to me, he's part of what I would consider like maybe the second group of receivers. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard these days to say, okay, who's a starter and who's not. But there's definitely a first group of receivers that you kind of see cycling through, and then there's a second group that I think Eugene's a part of right now. But very promising guy. I mean, I think if he sticks around and they can keep him here, he's going to be a guy that is going to be able to.
Why would you do that? Why would you just try and crush me on the way out? You were so positive, Mark. If you're on YouTube, he's laughing at me. If you were so positive that whole time, and then on the way out, he just casually goes, if they're able to keep him, meaning that this dude could be up and gone for NIL money somewhere else. That's pretty much what you're saying. Isn't it what you're saying, Mark?
I have no insight into that, but that's just the nature of college sports these days, I mean, I'm sorry to break it to you, Sparky, but these guys are going to some of these guys are going to break your heart. You're going to fall in love.
All right. Fine. Let me follow up with this then. So the other day we got this complaining session going on between Gundy and Dan Lanning at Oregon. And Lanning was like, hey man, look, like you're going to have to spend money in order to win. Right. So there are programs that are going to spend money to win. And then there are programs that aren't going to use it as an excuse of why they can't win because they want to save that money. And there's been all this conversation about the Badgers and do they have the money and they don't want to spend it or what the deal is and how much money do their boosters really have being thrown at this? Now, again, Oregon's Phil Nike. So obviously we know what that is. But from a Badger standpoint, do they simply, in your mind, just don't have enough money coming from boosters in order to really make this work the way it needs to?
Well, I mean, this whole NIL world there's a lot of stuff that we don't know. Like
Kawhi Leonard. We didn't know about Kawhi Leonard, according to reports either, Mark. We had no idea the NBA was on the NIL train.
So how much money does UW have compared to other schools? We don't really know specifics on that. I mean, haven't spoken to Chris McIntosh a few times and heard him talk. I know he's committed to being competitive that way. But I also think when you're Wisconsin, if you're not in Ohio State or Texas or Michigan or some of these schools where, they got the tradition that builds the coffers up, you're always going to be in a mode where, you got to spend wisely and you got to, get guys in and kind of project and develop players. I think one thing you saw with UW during this offseason is in the transfer portal, they got a lot of guys who are really strong players, like at the FCS level. They got a Division II. They even got a Division III kid who's in there too deep,
which also means cheaper talent.
Yeah, so you're banking and you're looking at players from a standpoint of, yes, they're cheaper, but you're also kind of projecting, okay, I think this kid can do this here. And football is one of those weird sports too, where to me, it's not like basketball where if you got 5 studs, you can just dominate. Yep. I mean, it does help, but football, there's so much chemistry involved. There's so much scheme and so much play calling that I do think, especially if the playoffs keep it expanding, that we're going to see some teams that you might not think, oh, they can't compete. And then all of a sudden they get on the field with, some of these blue blood programs, and they're going to be giving them everything they can handle. So to go back to your question, is Wisconsin putting enough money out there to compete? I mean, I think they are. Football is important to UW. It funds a lot of what they do as an overall athletic department. So having a strong, healthy football program means your whole athletic department has a chance to be healthy too. So that said, I do think they are investing. It's just how much, we might not know that for a long time.
He is Mark Stewart, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel Badgers beat reporter. Follow him on Twitter at Mark Stewart MJS. Not everybody probably tuned in to watch Miami of Ohio. Everybody's not going to tune in to watch Middle Tennessee State. Obviously, give me like one or two portal guys that stood out and maybe impressed you the most of what you've seen through, all of the practices and then through week one.
Of the portal guys, let's see.
I'm thinking you're going defense, probably, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say let's take Billy Edwards out of the mix. We know he's a really good player. Defensively, Mason Riger, defensive end, number 22. They're already using him a lot on third down, and he's been creating a lot of havoc. So he would probably be at the top of my list. Let's see. Another portal guy. I guess I'll go with a couple interior guys. Like you got some interior guys like Javier Suggs, in defensive tackle, guy who played at LSU, started his career at Division II Grand Valley State, and he's been a guy that has kind of worked his way up to the starting lineup, and he got a lot of snaps.
They threw that graphic on TV, Mark, while the game was going on. Last year, I want to say in the defensive line, they had like 3 dudes that were at 300 pounds. And coming into week one, they had 9 guys that are coming in around 300 pounds of that defensive line. Definitely intent as far as wanting to beef that lineup to stop the run. Yeah,
that was one of their things. They wanted to get bigger in the interior and on the edge, just have some variety. I mean, we saw Mason Riger last week. They got a guy, Corey Walker from Western Michigan, who played some, and he's kind of a different type of outside linebacker. So like when you look at that defensive front, you got the big guys on the inside, and then I think over the course of the season, you're going to see on the outside and on the edges different types of outside linebackers. Some bigger guys that might be better against the run. We saw the pass rushers last week, and I think we'll probably see some of those pass rushers again on Saturday.
He is Mark Stewart, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel Badgers beat writer. Follow him on Twitter at Mark Stewart MJS, joining us here on The Fan. Mark, thanks so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem.
You bet you take care. You too. Take care. There he is, Mark Stewart. Fan Gas Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. That was good. I enjoyed that. Do more of that throughout the season. That was a lot of fun with Mark Stewart. Other side of the glass, Charlie Houston, Steve Sparky Fifer with you as well. Coming up, Charlie's Sounds of the Day straight ahead. And looking forward to that. It's brought to you by Prize Picks. Let's tell you all about our friends over at Wendy's. The Meal of Misfortune, devised by Wednesday Adams, is available now at Wendy's, where you must surrender to your fate. It comes with rest in 10-piece nugs, small cursed and crispy fries, and a small Raven's Blood Frosty. And of course, 2 of 4 mysterious dips of dread to up the torment. In Wednesday's words, it's pure torture and tribute to the suffering that awaits us all from the dips of dread. And the best part is, you never know what you'll get, each uniquely insufferable in its own torturous way. Gotta be Wendy's. Watch Wednesday, season 2 only on Netflix. Available for limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's while supplies last. Charlie Sounds of the Day straight ahead. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy. Steve Sparky Fifer with you. Charlie using other side of the glass. Charlie Sounds of the Day coming up momentarily. And as I told you before, I will tell you again, Potawatomi Sportsbook, baby. That is where you are going to want to take your shuttle to and from the game, right there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. 1 hour before the game, shuttle starts running to the American Family Field, all the way through 1 hour after the game. So even if you're slow coming out of the stadium, you still have time to hop on the shuttle and get back to the Potawatomi Sportsbook. How do you get on the shuttle? Simple. Same day wager on a game that's being played that day. Doesn't have to be, a Milwaukee game. It can be any game on the slate that day, or a purchase there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Maybe you have a meal, maybe you have an appetizer, maybe you have some dessert, maybe you have a couple of beverages to drink, whatever. That gets you on the shuttle to and from the game. That's where you want to go. Free parking in their parking garage. It is the thing to do, and it's real simple, especially if you live down in that area, down in the valley, downtown, whatever. That's a great way to go about getting to and from the game. So check it out today, Potawatomi.com/sportsbook for more details. Again, Potawatomi.com/sportsbook for details. Charlie, before we get Charlie Sounds of the Day, and we will get there eventually, I have to bring up something, life topic.
All right.
Life topic. I'm old guy, right? Yeah. First kid off at college. Mm-hmm. So I this is going to be a thing with you and I, as long as he doesn't quit school for the next 4 or 5 years, however long he ends up being there. How often, or at any point, did you consider changing your major?
I never really thought about changing my major. I was always in journalism. Communications was always just kind of my goal, because even if it wasn't going to be journalism, communications is just a pretty broad degree. So I just thought I could work with that no matter what. So no, I never really thought about it, but I knew a lot of friends that did change their majors. My sister changed her major a couple times.
A couple of times. My kid has been there 3 days. And telling Kay today, I think I may want to change my major. Dude, you've been...
I would say
3 days.
Advice I would say is wait at least like a year and a half, because you don't even really get into your major courses until halfway through your sophomore year, really.
I said to her, I haven't talked to him. I said to her, at least give it to Christmas. And then when you come back at Christmas break, we can sit down and we can talk and everything else. And then if you are considering changing majors, go have a conversation with somebody that you know that's in the major to make sure you want to go do what that person is doing at the end of the day. Remember, you and I talked about this, and I told him, find something that you love. Find something that you love. And that boy told me, I just want to make a lot of money. I'll live with having a job I don't like. He is 3 days into this job. He's going to make a lot of money in. It doesn't matter if I like it. And now he's already talking about changing majors.
It happens to a lot of people. He's not alone in that. Listen, that's something that a lot of people do.
If you are a high school kid listening to me right now, and y'all are out of school, if you are listening to me right now and you have plans to do something after high school, which hopefully you do, if you are one of them, find something you love. Find something you like. Charlie don't make a lot of money, but he likes coming to work and it's a lot of fun. Tommy don't make a lot of money, but he likes coming to work and it's a lot of fun. And the idea is to grow within the industry and build up to something. No, there's not instant satisfaction like there is going to school for like 8 years to become a lawyer. By the way, that industry is becoming shrinking because everybody wants to be a lawyer now.
Well, you have to go to school for 8 years. I didn't want to do that. Right, that's boring, man. I was done with school after the 3.5.
But for those of you, I want to make a lot of money. Okay. But again, there's all kinds of things that come with it. Find something you love and don't worry about how much it's going to pay you or whatever else. It's a lot easier to get up in the morning and enjoy going to your job than get up in the morning and dreading having to go to work every day. Just free piece of advice from your guy here. And you could do with it whatever you like. I'm here for you all the time if you need some advice.
1, 2, 3. What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on The Fan.
All right, let's get to it. 3 sound clips, top 3 clips of the day. Charlie using What Say You?
First up, we're going to head over to First Take on ESPN, where Ryan Clark and the crew over there were discussing college football, most notably whether or not Arch Manning is or will be a generational talent at some point here. Ryan Clark had an
He started one game, and we're talking generational?
Ryan Clark had a interesting take on a future NFL Hall of Famers as generational talents going into the NFL draft.
Few of them. I think there's less than what you think. I think John Elway was a generational talent. I think Patrick Mahomes is a generational talent. I don't think Tom Brady, I don't think Drew Brees, I don't think Peyton Manning are generational talents. I think Andrew Luck ended up being a generational talent. I don't think there's a ton of them out there.
But so then what? Then how does one, in your eyes, be a generational talent?
Good
because
question.
there's not a lot of difference.
Production. Let me chime in here because I love the argument back and forth between y'all. I ain't trying to get in the way of it. Here's the reality. The operative word here is. Do you believe Arch Manning is a generational talent? He could be, but he's not. Why not yet? What have you seen to say that he is?
There's no evidence.
There's no evidence.
Okay, I agree. There's no evidence. However, if you're defining generational talent based on production, how the hell is Tom Brady not a generational talent if it's based on production? That's not what he's basing it on. He's basing it on arm strength and mobility. Andrew Luck had a good arm, right? So he's generational talent. Fine. Elway, strong arm, generational talent. Patrick Mahomes, same. Ryan Clark pretty much said, if you got a strong arm, generational talent. Not so much, not a generational talent. Listen, the Arch Manning thing. I don't know for sure, but I think he'll be as good as Eli, maybe, at the next level. Eli had a lot of losing seasons. Eli won twice, though. 2 Super Bowl rings.
He's a borderline Hall of Famer in a lot of people's eyes.
Well, he's got 2 rings, so that's going to put him in the conversation. So Eli was nice. Regular season quarterback. Postseason quarterback, he didn't choke much. If he got there, he was pretty damn good. Payne got there all the time and choked it away damn near every postseason like Brett. So whatever. This cat ain't Peyton, but he's probably closer to Eli at this point. I think he will play in the NFL. I don't think he's going to be MVP-like, though, in the NFL as a quarterback. Again, it's early. We have to see more. And because of his name, he got all this additional love and praise in high school and all of that. I wasn't sold on him coming in that he was going to be the first pick in this draft. I'm still not sold that he's going to be the first pick in the draft. But this is the thing. Saints are going to suck probably, right? What happens if the Saints are horrible? That is grandpa. You're telling me they're at 1? They ain't taking him? Of course they're taking him. They have to take him. You better sell the franchise if you don't take Manning. If you are in New Orleans, he's got to go 1, even if he isn't that. And the other thing is going to be this. How can you look anybody in the NFL in the eyes and say, that's a good decision for your family to go play for the Saints right now, when you bogeyed out of a way to get it to the Chargers and force your way to the Giants, all this other stuff, but yet you're going to trust the Saints who have been down there in the cellar for how long? That's going to be considered a good decision? No, because Bloodlines played there. That's why you're going to consider it a good decision. And watch Peyton end up over there as GM or something, or coach, and taking over that Saints team.
I think the only thing that the New Orleans Saints that helps them a little bit in avoiding Arch Manning in the draft, if they don't want an Arch Manning, is that the actual number 1 quarterback in the country, or at least the number 1 quarterback that a lot of people believe in, is Garrett Nussmeier at LSU. So the in-state school to the same state NFL organization, I think, is enough of a storyline to kind of help people ignore the fact that Arch Manning isn't going to be a New Orleans Saint and that maybe he could go to a different team. I think that's the only thing that helps them out a little bit if they were to draft him instead of Manning in that situation. Next up here, we're going to head over to First Things First on Fox Sports, where Nick Wright was discussing NFL Red Zone watchers, most importantly, people that only watch NFL Red Zone.
You cannot be a self-respecting, diehard NFL fan if the only way you consume football is through Red Zone. Watch a whole game like an adult. Second screen, supplementary, on your computer, fine. But don't tell me you love the NBA. Like, what game did you watch last night? No, I just Bleacher Report speed, saw some highlights. You don't learn anything. You don't know anything. And sports media, you can't cover the league if you're just watching Red Zone. We got to learn, Coach, how a team matriculated the ball down the field, not just the candy of the touchdowns and the turnovers and the punt returns. So if you are a true football fan, throw on a full game, have Red Zone secondary, whether it's on your phone, computer screen. If you have multi-TV setup, that's fine. And if you're just a casual fan, just following fantasy, no problem. But don't try to get in football arguments or football discussions if you haven't seen a team run a 2nd and 13 from their own 20-yard line in 30 years.
Okay. I don't know where to begin.
I knew that one would get you.
I'm not going to yell and scream about this. This one, listen, I agree with you. I agree with him. I'm going to take if you do this for a living, you can't follow the NFL like that, right? That can't be your only source of information. He's 1,000% right. You actually have to watch freaking games and watch the All-22 and all that other stuff. So that, yeah, okay, fine. I'm with you. I agree. But say you're not a football fan. Listen, most people, maybe not everyone, but I would say, Charlie, you can tell me if I'm wrong or not. I would say at least 90% of people, maybe higher, maybe 95, I don't know, that watch that Red Zone are fans of a team and watch their team's full game and then watch that when their team's not playing, or like he said, have it on a second device or on their phone. They're watching that while their team's on the regular TV. I can't imagine the percentage of people in this country is very large that don't have a favorite team and only watch Red Zone, that don't have a team to root for and don't watch a team's games. I think that's got to be a very small, minute percentage at this point, regardless of how young or old you are.
Right. It's just a good way to get kind of the basic information that if you are a fantasy fan that you want to use it for, and you do have your favorite teams. When I watch Red Zone, it's because, like you're saying, I already watched the Bears. I already watched the Packers for that day. And now I kind of want to get caught up on other games. And if I see something interesting in a game that's happening, if the Panthers and Saints for some reason are neck and neck at 27-27 in the last quarter of the game, then I'll go watch the full quarter of that game. That's how a lot of people do it. It's not just sitting there watching Red Zone. Like that's just not how most people use Red Zone.
I'll help you out. You don't need to watch Red Zone if you're sitting at the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
There you go.
It's all in front of you on a 2,000 square foot center screen. All the games. You don't even need to watch Red Zone on your phone. You can go down there, watch the Packers game, Bears game, Vikings game, Lions game, whoever you're a fan of, on the screen, and still keep an eye on everything else going on. And you want to know when something big is happening? Because all parts of the sportsbook will be cheering at different moments based on where the money is in different games and different outcomes. I'm telling you, you're not going to match that experience. You're just not. And I don't have time to talk about Potawatomi here or whatever. I'm just telling you free advice. That is going to be the best experience you're going to get watching a game. That's it. Then you could start debating 2, 3, 4, 5 after that, as far as, where do you want to go watch a game? You can't get in there because that place is going to be packed. Reserve your seats. Potawatomi.com/sportsbook through the football season. I'm telling you, it's going to be packed every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. If you want to go, reserve that seat ahead of time. Is that all 3?
That was only 2 of them. Got one more.
I can't handle any more of this. I felt like we've been through the gauntlet already. Headphones fell off. All right, what's the next one while I try and fix my headphones?
All right, last up here, we're going to head over to Up and Adams, a show that you like, at least.
I love
there you go.
Adams. Yeah.
Where Rob Gronkowski was on the show discussing what it's like to take an epidural before an NFL game.
You've had an epidural like days before a game?
Yes, plenty of times, and it just takes away that inflammation that's in your disc, because your disc gets inflamed, and that's when the herniation starts, and that's when the pain starts going down your legs, and all the back pain starts hurting. And the epidural takes away instantly, within 24 hours, all that inflammation. It gives you a big relief. Sometimes it doesn't work, but majority of the times it works. But with Michael Parsons' situation, a joint sprain, I mean, it doesn't sound that serious, and it does sound like it's just caused from a little inflammation from what I'm just hearing and speculating. So that shall help tremendously for him, especially if he never had one before.
I will tell you, I've never had one of those. Have you ever had one of those?
I have not ever had one, no.
So I can't sit here and tell you I know firsthand what this is like one way or the other. I will say, I don't feel like I would want to go through an entire season where I need one of these shots every week to play. And I'm sure there are people that have played in the National Football League that probably took plenty of these shots throughout the course of a season to keep themselves on the field. Probably way more back in the 80s and 90s than they do now. But I bet you money they were doing that and other crazy stuff in order to get themselves on the field to play through the pain. So I'm not surprised by it, and we will just have to see how this whole thing plays out with Micah Parsons. We'll talk more about Micah Parsons coming up at 4:20. Straight ahead, Green and Gold update. We'll hear from Matt LaFleur after today's practice as the Packers get ready to take on the Lions coming up on Sunday afternoon. Don't forget Green Bay football postgame show here on The Fan immediately following that one with Tommy Wirtz and myself. Take your calls, your tweets. Also, chat with you on YouTube. We'll be streaming our postgame show live as always. Search The Fan Milwaukee. Check out our shorts, our videos, all of our shows and interviews in the past. Go there. Search now The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube. Green and Gold update coming up straight ahead. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.